Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a Patreon cast. For those of you on patreon.com/FalconPaladin that support me for at least $1 a month, I appreciate the support, you guys. If you're seeing this the week of Thanksgiving 2020, unless you're not an American, in which case the last week of November for 2020, a very normal week indeed. Top right, it is the Red Zerg player Scarlett, the Canadian, and in the bottom left it is Neeb. He is the blue Protoss player. So two players, man, who played against each other hundreds of thousands of times at this point, like just thousands and thousands of times. All the time, on the NA ladder, in competitions, in qualifiers, competitively, they played a whole lot over the years. Always fun to see them go against each other because they know each other so very, very well. Did get ourselves a probe scout block on the natural for Scarlett, but third base comes up, no problem whatsoever. Really, Scarlett's not worried about that one bit, and a gateway expand here from Neeb. So what's Neeb going to do today? I feel like Neeb has a lot of options against Scarlett. Can go for some kind of crazy two-base attacks with Adepts, maybe with Zealot Warpins, though I haven't seen a Zerg player die to a Charge Lot Zealot all-in for a very long time. Or go right to carriers, right? We've seen that work pretty well recently on the channel. Or go ground into carriers. I mean, everything's viable in this matchup. That's what I like about PvZ. There's not a unit from Zerg or from Protoss that is completely non-viable in this matchup. Broodlords, viable. Tempest, viable. Motherships, yup. Infestors, Vipers, High Templar, Disruptors. Everything. Every unit in the entire arsenal for both players is totally something they can do today. And that's what I like. I like a state of StarCraft where everything is usable and viable. It just makes the game feel better than if there are units that are completely locked away, like Hydralisks were for a very long time in Wings of Liberty, just completely not used in any matchup at all. Battle Cruisers were so bad for so long too. And now I think everything has its place, which is a testament to how well the balance team's been working over the years to get to this point. Of course, they are done with scheduled updates. They've said they're no longer going to do quarterly balance updates at all anymore. They're going to do updates as necessary to the balance. But it's as they see fit, right? If there's something that's really problematic, as a pylon comes up, for one race to deal with, and it doesn't seem like the players are able to figure it out, they'll probably jump in. But that's one of the crazy things about Brood War, is they haven't had a balance update since 2001. And yet, they're still a competitive, incredibly viable esport. ASL gets tons of viewers, man. ASL is hugely popular. That is the Brood War tournament. And they've never had the balance team come to anybody's rescue, right? To anybody's rescue at all in 20 years now. But the meta changes, the players figure out ways to handle the stuff that looks impossible to deal with, and the game continues to grow and evolve. It's nuts. It's a really inspiring thing to see, so I feel like StarCraft 2 can do the same thing. At least I hope so. Void Ray opening, which we've seen stats do recently on the channel, it does help chase away these pesky overlords, which is why they're not super near. They're not hanging out in the traditional locations where Void Rays like to come looking for the overlords. One's actually heading off in the opposite direction. One's coming in for a scout, but from a sneaky angle, hoping the Void Ray doesn't find him before he sees what's going on. And yeah, Scarlett did toss that down. We've seen some Zerg players act like they want this and then just not take it and go for a two-base attack. But today it sure seems like Scarlett's going for that macro style. Cannot blame her for that at all. Zerglings just coming in from different directions, scouting around. They do see the third base coming up, a Void Ray defending, and an Adept defending, which is enough. That's enough to handle a good number of Lings. I mean, if like 30 Lings showed up, no. But committing 30 Lings to kill a Nexus is not a good trade for Scarlett, and never has been, and would crush her economy. And she wouldn't be able to keep up on the two bases that Neeb has rolling with that he's got fully saturated, because of course he does. Oracle on the follow-up here. Does he have... He's got one. He's making another one. So we'll name this Oracle Five Nights at Freddy's, number 456123. Scott Carlson, promising once again for real this time that this would be the last Five Nights at Freddy's game, has decided to bring the horror to real life by reprogramming an Oracle to project jump scares straight into people's minds. This has the mild side effect of causing instant heart attacks, and people still somehow complain that it isn't actually scary anyway. That's pretty good. That's a good Five Nights at Freddy's burn. A bit of one there. Roach Warren coming in from Scarlett. Lair on the way here too. Oracles. Trying to see what they can do, but the queen count seems pretty good. So, I mean, Scarlett's queen count is always nuts. There are players that love their queens. Snoot, one of those from back in the day. I think he's retired now, but Snoot was always somebody who... one of the first players to be like, queens are good. I'm making a lot of queens. But nice sneaking around here. Neeb manages to sneak in and get 4 drone kills before the queens can respond. That's nuts. That should not have happened. The queens were in the base, ready to respond to the flight in this way, but they weren't ready for the sneak around the backside. Neeb, you absolute boss. Such a fun player, for sure. The whole thing about Neeb, I think I've said this on the channel recently too, is that he's excellent. He's won a Premier Tournament before. Is that he's very, very good, but he's not always motivated, which I think a lot of us can relate to. How many of us are always motivated in our jobs, right? So when Neeb's motivated, he's terrifying. When he's not, he's pretty easily beatable. I think that's true for everybody, though, right? Scarlett's 4th base coming up here. Oracle's trying to find more damage. As, let's see, can we find an angle? The queen's set up here. Pretty good. We're just here for revelations, though. We're just here to scout and spy on you, as your overlords are pretty capable of spying on us for most of the game. Infestation Pit already on the way for Scarlett at 6 minutes. Like, Scarlett's creep spread and macro and teching up today has been very good. Looks like we're getting charged. Temple Archives coming in here from Neeb. He's got some sentries in the mix here too. Now this is where you're a little bit vulnerable if you're Protoss, is suddenly the Hydras have speed. Suddenly we're pumping 5 of them at a time, and suddenly something like 20 to 30 Hydras can show up at your base. Or, you know, fewer Hydras augmented with things like Roaches and Ravagers, or Banelings, and really, really cause you problems. We've seen Protoss players die to similar pushes. But Neeb understands the importance of having his own ground army. He's got some charge lots in here. Charge lots very good against Hydralisks. Unless the Hydras are microed perfectly, which is hard to do. And some Archons in the mix as well. So Neeb recognizes, okay, look how fast they are in this speedy zone. Recognizes, all right, so we're not just going to sit back and let our 3rd base get attacked. We're going to attack and maybe set up a 4th base of our own, which is what this probe is up to. And indeed he is. I don't know if going in here is really in Neeb's best interests. I love how fast his units are in that speed zone, though. I mean, Void Rays and Zealots are pretty zippy anyway, but man, in the speed zone, they're so fast. I'm going to kill some of your creep tumors. You know, slow down that legendary Scarlet creep spread that everyone's always talking about. That looks like a base for Scarlet up here, too. Yeah, if she knew this expansion was coming up, she would have taken this base already, and she's going to now. Once the recall happens, basically, okay, that means Neeb is not all in at this point. If he kept attacking and kept reinforcing and that army kept getting bigger, that would be an indication he was still on 3 bases. He was trying to kill Scarlet now, but the recall says, okay, he's got another base down there somewhere. I'm going to go ahead, expand, take this top left for my 5th, and there are some Zealots in my main base I need to clear up, apparently. Yeah. War Prism trying to do some stuff. Not really getting a lot done here. Scarlet's creep spread to the edges of her base are just too smart. Too difficult to get anything done over here. Maybe a Spire would be nice, but a 2 Lurker Dens? That has to be an accident. Whoa, maybe she just wants both upgrades at once. 2 Lurker Dens does let you get the fast burrow and the range really quickly, which usually Zerg players will prioritize the range upgrade and not really pay as much attention to the quick burrow. But having them both is nice. It's not like you're going to skip one. Oh, the stasis. Stasis really saves the day there. These roaches. No anti-air in this one Void Ray, shoving away an entire roach army. How embarrassing. Yeah, this War Prism's like, we're going to try to sneak around over here. No. Storm finishing up. Ground Weapons level 2 finishing up. Overlord Speed finishing up. I think these roaches are going to die without killing a single thing, which... not good trades at all. Resources lost 3,000 to 1,000. Guess which one, which player has lost the most resources today? I'll give you one guess. And there's the fleet beacon, I was going to say. And the additional Stargates. Neeb does love his Skytoss. He's very good with it, too. We'll see if he has enough in him to win with Skytoss against Scarlet. We've seen Skytoss win on the channel recently, and we've seen them lose as well. It's not an auto-win scenario, and it's not an auto-loss versus Zerg anymore, it feels like. I mean, maybe against Serral it is? I don't know that you're really capable of beating Serral with Skytoss, but Maybe. Scarlett definitely. Scarlett definitely one of those players capable of dying to Skytoss, because really anybody but Serral will die to Skytoss. I just feel like that's how it is. Although I think, did we see... God, I'm trying to remember. That Stats versus Serral best of 7 that I cast. Well, depending on when you're watching this, it was either 2 months ago or like 6 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks ago, rather. Did Stats beat him with Skytoss in one game? I feel like he did. So even Serral's not immune to this. It's a good strategy. It's not as unbeatable as it used to be. It's not as utterly beatable as it used to be either. So again, I think we're in a good position right now. That is so many lurkers. So the lurkers are I mean, do they know? Do they know carriers are coming? Because the lurkers have a lot of viability until the carriers show up, and then they have some use. Right? Then they're basically there to kill High Templar and Archons and Immortals that are hiding underneath the Skytoss. But until then, I mean, you don't need that many lurkers for this. So I think these guys are on a suicide mission. They do outrage cannons real nice, even with shield battery situations here. Handful of Hydras just to make sure the Void Rays can't wander over here and kill everything. And attack down to the right side to get rebuffed. A little bit here. How much Storm do you have would be the question. The lurkers do get out, as the Immortal group is just too much to deal with. Scarlett hunting around to see if she can get any damage done here at the third base. Not really. Expanding on the right side. Well, Neeb has expanded to a 5th base here. More Hydras coming in. So again, this is a vulnerable position where there are carriers taking up a lot of supply for Neeb, but not really providing that much benefit. There aren't that many of them. Ugh, Scarlett's still making lurkers. Ooh, this might just be a total misread. Does Scarlett know? I think Neeb's done a pretty good job hiding these carriers from Scarlett, guys. I don't like it. I don't like the additional... I do like the multi-pronged attacks, though. This is pretty nice. The army evacuates this base, and it's under attack a little bit here. These guys trying to get through, but there are multiple High Templar on the top of that ramp. Not so much any here, though, which is interesting. So this army gets shoved away. Nexus has survived. This army doing some work. Storm really causing problems for everything the Zerg has, and all of the Zerg units die. 6 probes go down. The carriers have revealed themselves. So 16 Corruptors in production. Scarlett says, alright, so my ground attempts to take out bases have not gone very well, but I have kept Neeb on the back foot here. So I've been able to expand a whole bunch here on Jagannatha, which I didn't actually say the map name here today, did I? Maybe subconsciously I don't want to say the map name. So here's where the Warp Prism says, okay, there's a lot of Corruptors out. Maybe we'll just do a quick warp in, because I know I'm not going to get many more opportunities for these at all. The Zealot's got a queen. Zealots might actually get a second queen. That's not too bad. And then the push behind it. Neeb jumping across the map. It seems almost instantaneously, but obviously timing it to where it is happening about the same time as that Zealot warping here. And this base is going to go down. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. These air battles can get a little bit claustrophobic if we're at the normal zoom level. Okay, 19 drones have died. Another hatch going to go down. Scarlett might just die here, guys. Oh, the storms and the Archon bursts. And the Corruptors are dying so fast. The split on the Corruptors is okay. It's okay right now. And there's only 2 carriers left for Neeb. He did end up losing 4, which is not great. But trading it for 2 bases for Scarlett and how many? 26 drones is absolutely worth it. Neeb is in full control in this game right now. The Corruptors were not enough. That's why you have the Archons. That's why you have the Storm. This is 1 Zealot. Left behind to die. Can he make it? He can make it home unless he charges into the enemy and dies. He could have made it home, but like all Zealots do, he saw battle and wanted to get in there. Another Warper and a Zealots. This might just be Scarlett kind of getting picked apart, you guys. For whatever reason, Neeb's been really focused as of late, and he's just everywhere, man. And I really feel like a super focused Neeb is better than Scarlett. I know that Scarlett's also won her own Premier Tournament. She's very capable as well. But Neeb just might have her number in this game. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a 188 to 162 supply. more drones are dying. More lurkers in production. Like, I get you want to try to handle this ground army, but I don't see it. I don't see this working out. This base is going to die too. All right, so math. I talk about math a lot, especially in PvZ, and it is, the number of bases is just not, it doesn't work. It doesn't add up for what Scarlett needs to win this game. It's going to be some kind of a miraculous engagement. Okay, well, getting 3 of your lurker stasis does not count as miraculous. DT's getting murdered is always a good thing, but 17 more drones died there. 43 drones have gone down today. 43. C'est terrible for les Zerg. Just horrifically bad right now for Scarlett. 4 bases. I should got the 5th base up and running again, which is nice, but Neeb's on 5 bases. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Mothership's out just for fun right now. DT Blink coming in from Neeb. The income favoring Neeb pretty substantially-ish over the last 3 minutes or so. And that's just the kind of window Protoss needs to win a game. That's really all it takes, is to have an advantage in income over the Zerg at all, because the Zerg, even with an advantage in income, is not necessarily going to win. You need to be really, really efficient with your units if you're Protoss to win this thing. If the Zerg player has an advantage, but if you have the advantage, you can be a little bit more careless and be totally fine. Tempest in production here. Neeb taking a 6th base along the left side. If you're ahead, get more ahead, he always says. Leaves these tumors alone. Never mind. Get this one. Get this one too for a sense of completion. There you go. All right. So creep spread not as good for Scarlett as we've seen. It's usually a bad sign for the Zerg. If your creep spread is anemic at the 16-minute mark, it's probably a bad sign. It probably means you've been under attack for a while now. So Scarlett's been given some time to breathe, right? She's got Corruptors. She has Vipers now for Abduct, which she didn't have in the previous engagement. That can be excellent here. Really need the Vipers to be abducting the mothership. Abducting costs a lot of void rays, though. Abducting the carriers is necessary. This void ray count is actually nuts. Okay, parasitic bomb on the void rays is going to be a must. I would prioritize prismatic alignment, or sorry, parasitic bomb here over abducts. She doesn't have a lot of Vipers. She only has 2. She doesn't have a lot of spells there, so parasitic bomb. And then the rest of it should be fairly well handleable with the ground army. That's just mass lurker army that Scarlett has. Could Scarlett make a comeback here, folks? Neeb's, I think Neeb could have kept pressing. But I think he wanted, again, to be ahead and get more ahead, which is a vital and a valuable setup too, but there is such thing as letting your opponent get their feet back under them, right? Yes, there absolutely is. Okay, so feedback on the Vipers, though. That's what the High Templar are here for. They're here for feedback. They're here for storms. The Vipers need to suck more energy off of buildings, I guess. Okay, we've seen this. Who did we see do this? Neeb? It was Neeb versus... what was the ZVP? The Zerg player. God, I want to say Estrella, but it's the Korean Zerg player Armani. We saw Neeb do this to great effect. He basically baited the Zerg player into attacking him over a ton of shield batteries. It did not go well at all for the Zerg player there. So let's see what can happen here with Neeb. Yeah, this base is back up. This one's not happening. And that is... Neeb's not fist of Neebing here, but he's working on it. He's only got 57 workers. In fairness, Scarlett only has 59. So she's got a pretty big army here as well. 124 to 140. Neeb has a lead. But being able to just set... Having this base and having it defended by a million shield batteries is awesome. Because that was Scarlett. It's taking this one and doing the same thing would all but ensure Neeb's victory here. Oh my gosh. More probes getting sacked. Are you kidding? Dude, Neeb is fist of Neeb being pretty hard right now. 48 workers. He's getting the Tempest upgrade that allows it to do extra damage to buildings and makes the attacks from the Tempest look orange, which is very fun. Yeah, these little counterattacks. Storm, so much Storm. Some Archons in the mix too. Scarlett does not like that at all. Changelings getting caught out. And Neeb just playing the patient long game here. He doesn't need to kill Scarlett fast. The longer the game goes on, the more the income is going to favor him. The more shield batteries and cannons he can set up here that he can attack out onto and then retreat with. Look at how fast it kills these spores. This is what Protoss have been asking for a long time. Oh, got the feedback before the abduct there. Neeb's awareness is through the roof right now. He is just not letting Scarlett do anything. She's trying to abduct. No. Shut down. She's trying to do little counterattacks of Lings and Hydras. This might actually work. I mean, that Archon is dead. But the Storms, though. Oh, the Hydras. Not a good place to be, Hydralisks, ever at all. Is in the middle of them storms. Bum, bum, bum. Feedback on the Viper again. I don't think the Vipers have done anything today. I don't think they've abducted a single unit, cast one parasitic bomb, no blinding cloud. Blinding cloud would be dumb here, but right? Every time they get close enough to Neeb's army to do anything, they get feedback. It's nuts. This is so good out of Scarlett. Well, out of Neeb, rather. The Overseer's getting sniped. Mass Tempest, surprisingly weird to deal with as Zerg. Look at that Viper just went down. Lurker's dying. Wait, hold on. Does it do ground targets just to take more damage from the upgrade? I never see that upgrade researched. I never see it used against anything other than spores. Does it increase all ground damage done? Because if it does extra damage to ground, that's kind of nuts. Okay, so Scarlett losing this base, I think is just it. Yes, you have this one. You need to take this to have a shot at winning this game. Or win some kind of an engagement here, but it really doesn't seem like that's what Neeb is interested in allowing at all. Yeah, more drones dying. This is not Scarlett intentionally getting rid of them. This is just drones dying. And then recalls out. Except for there's one Oracle and there's one... Oh, second recall for those guys. Cool. Just, you know, we don't want to leave a man behind here, says Neeb. Resources lost 33,000 for Scarlett and 21,000 for Neeb. It's an advantage, ladies and gentlemen. And Neeb is just content to sit back and say, hey, you attack into me. You attack into my entrenched positions. Actually, you know what? He's not really in a place to defend this at all. He's just wandering over this way for some reason. Yeah, he's not prismatic aligning on these Void Rays because he needs that for the Corruptor Ball. Yeah, Scarlett tried to expand over here. No dice. No dice K Matsuzaka for you. I like how there's all these shield batteries here with nothing to heal. That's obviously what Scarlett saw, and she's like, well, I can kill these, right? Oh, there's High Templar in the neighborhood, though. Run! Okay, so it is 44 Corruptors right now with 3 attack, 2 armor upgrades versus 3 Skytoss with +2 shields, so that extra thing is helping. Yeah, Storm Cannon Shield Battery is pretty much going to handle most things that Zergs are going to throw at this. Neeb is just starving out Scarlett is all this is. This is just a masterclass in how to starve out a Zerg player and never actually have to win an engagement. Because I mean, he won that one engagement at the start and then just took a massive lead and made it bigger and bigger over time. And never gave Scarlett another chance to win an engagement. This is such a defensive, annoying style. Yeah, and Neeb's going to take this. Okay, that's the death knell. That is, Scarlett cannot win the game if Neeb takes this. It is denying Scarlett income. It is giving Neeb even more income. The banks are hugely in favor of Neeb right now. And lo, it was a good effort, Scarlett, but I think this game is over. I know she's maxed out and she has a bank. I get that. But nope. This is not happening today. Neeb has whipped out his ridiculous defensive strategy for all time. And Scarlett has not been able to crack it. See this again over here? If you want to attack me, you have to attack into me with 1,000,000 shield batteries. I still feel like shield batteries that aren't touching a Nexus or a Gateway shouldn't have instant energy, instant full energy when they pop. It seems overpowered to me, but I mean, again, how many Protoss have won major premier championships in 2020? The answer is 0, I don't think. It's been all Zerg and Terran wins across the board. GSL and everything on the ESL circuit too. So it's hard for me to be like, Protoss needs a nerf. Because this doesn't win enough at the highest levels for it to be a serious concern. Does it look incredibly overpowered here today? It certainly does. Is it? No, not really. Not consistently good enough. Dude, that's the last source. That is the last source of income for Scarlett. Somehow we're even on income, which doesn't track at all for me. How is it that close? 22 probes remaining for Scarlett. She has this base. How is she the equivalent of this and this? I guess Neeb has 38 workers and isn't really seriously gathering income right now, so that would explain a lot. And that's a big jump. After that base died, that was a large section of Scarlett's income, and now it's dead. Even retaking that base doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense at all. Alright, so Scarlett's just getting squeezed into a corner here. Really nowhere to go. There's your engagement. Scarlett's going for it, taking a lot of storms, though. Corruptor's coming from the right side, trying to do what they can, and you know what? Neeb actually might lose this engagement, quite possibly. There are still some Void Rays here with Prismatic Alignment burning through these Corruptors very quickly. The Corruptor ball on the right side, trying to dodge that as much as Zergly possible. Void Ray is getting on out of there. And yeah, that's it. We are done for the day. She does wipe out the army, but all she can really remake here is 9 Hydras and 7 Corruptors. There's Void Rays in production. Yeah, Neeb is not going to lose the space because the Archons arrive, getting that splash damage off. Dude, Neeb taking this one is just mean at this point. It does get canceled. Neeb making another mothership. What is going on right now? Scarlett handled that exceptionally well, right? The splits on the Corruptors were great. The target firing was very good. Lost a lot of Corruptors, yes, but killed a ton of Neeb's army there. But again, Neeb has the bank to do it. Scarlett did take the top left. That's how desperate she is for money right now. There is barely enough minerals here to make this worth it. And gas. Oh, the Corruptors are finding these Tempests alone and unsupported, which means the Tempests are going to die. I like that aggressive play for sure. But the Void Rays are here, and where are those Hydralisks? We need those Hydralisks for these Voids. Did they die? They died. Okay, so she was making more Hydras. I don't know where they are now. Maybe you turned them into lurkers. Maybe she did. Yeah, entirely possible she just lurkered them. She's got some of those. Oh, it's 13 drones. 13 drones remaining here for Scarlett. Under 1,000 minerals in that bank. She's fighting. She's scratching. She's clawing. She's back against the wall. Fighting for her life here. It's going to be at least one more engagement. Oh, this is just... Neeb just... He's aware. And picking off a couple... Ah, that's your good game, Neeb. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just kind of getting snuck up on there, right? Trying to go for an aggressive attack. Kind of trying to watch this army a little bit. Flings and lurkers trying to do stuff. He's like, the carriers are undefended. All right, but look how fast the Void Rays can close. Yeah, but this right here. Just too much. Too much. Good game. Neeb's your winner. All right, so dang, end of the day, 37,000 resources lost for Neeb, but 58,000 lost for Scarlett is a lot of stuff to lose. 68 corruptors, 44 lurkers, 89 drones, 6 hatcheries down, 35 spores, and yeah, Neeb making it happen for the Protoss here today. Just a good patient display there. And yeah, it's an economic game, right? Neeb was able to take way more bases than Scarlett had, and that meant she was dead. Even if she won that final engagement, she couldn't remax on enough times to keep up with what Neeb was doing. He had a bigger bank at the end of the game. He had cannons and shield batteries. The Corruptors are not going to do anything against that. At the end of the day, Scarlett's army was 3 Lurkers and 12 Corruptors and 26 Lings. It's not enough. It's not enough to handle this. So nice job by Neeb, and that right there is going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a Patreon cast. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.